Okay, the next one is number 8, fines and penalties. Remember that if you have an owner that is violating your association's CC&Rs, which would be like your declaration of covenants, conditions, and restrictions, bylaws, or rules, you have the right under Arizona law to fine the owner for the violation. You have to give notice of the violation and an opportunity to be heard before you levy the fine. So let's give an example. Let's say that an owner is not putting their trash can away in a timely manner. And the association has rules that the trash cans are only going out on Mondays and Thursdays, and this person leaves the trash can out 7 days a week. How do we handle it? Well, first we have to give notice of the violation to the owner, and in that notice, we would have to give the owner an opportunity to be heard before we could levy a fine. So you have to really set it up. So you'd have to say notice of the violation. You have to allow them an opportunity to be heard, which best practices, in my opinion, is to ask them to write you in response, regarding the violation, and then you can levy the fine against the owner. The legislature really took the teeth out of this law about 9 years ago. We used to be able to lien for unpaid fines. You no longer can lien under Arizona law for unpaid fines. Instead, if an owner has a substantial amount of fines, the process that we are now allowed to do under Arizona law is we can file a lawsuit in justice court against the owner, and then we get a judgment against the owner. We record that judgment with Maricopa County Recorder's Office, and it becomes a judgment lien. Now, for all practical purposes, most of you are probably sitting here looking at onesie-twosie fines, right? You have a couple owners that maybe they owe $100 or not very many of you, I'm guessing, have an owner with $4,000 in fines, although I could be wrong. So on the onesie-twosie people, you're not going to file a lawsuit, right? No. What we suggest is put that on the books of the association's ledgers, whatever the fine amount is, and when they sell, maybe you'll get paid. Or if the fines continue to accrue, when it hits a certain level, maybe $1,000, hopefully it won't last that long, then you would go ahead and consider filing a lawsuit on the fines. And then if you get a judgment against the owner, of course, we can use our traditional collection means to collect it, such as garnishing their wages, garnishing their rent, or any bank account. We're going to talk about that more in the second half of our presentation.